Alright, this is going to be a review of the Gamesense META. I'm sorry if the lighting is off or something. I did just move into a whole new house, new setup. I haven't gotten the lighting or anything. I haven't gotten anything set up in my room. I just wanted to make this video because I've had time to use this mouse, and this mouse has been very hyped up. So I'm sorry if there's like a glare on my arm from the sun or anything like that, or the lighting is too dim or whatever. But getting into the mouse, this is the Gamesense META. It's been hyped up for a very long time, and yeah, so this mouse comes in at about $60, and this is their first mouse, by the way. It comes in at about $60. It uses a 3360 sensor, which I really advise you to stay until I talk about the sensor because there are some issues, and we'll get to that. Kale 4.0 switches, which is obviously a very nice addition. 65 grams, and the shape is basically a mini S2. There is RGB, and it does look solid on the mouse pad, but I mean, you don't really notice it. And what I wish they did is cut off all the RGB and made like a gold or silver Gamesense logo, or maybe like a chrome one. That would have looked nice. Saved a little bit of weight. But anyway, the coding is also, I just want to throw this out there. It is made for drag clicking, and we'll get into that. So any of the Minecraft people out there, yeah, this coding is made for drag clicking. So yeah, getting into the sound test now. Kale 4.0 switches. Right and left click. Side buttons. Scroll wheel. Alright, so what I want to start off with is the right and left click are solid. They feel solid. There is no pre-travel concerns, but there is quite a bit of post-travel. And the other thing is that it is a full shell design. It is not split, so it is going to be a stiffer experience. If you don't like a stiffer experience, you're probably not going to like this. The other thing I want to talk about is the box. The art is absolutely amazing. The unboxing experience was really, really nice. That is the box. It looks very, very nice. In the box, you get a set of feet. That is it. And yeah, so the side buttons are pretty big, and I like that. It's always nice to have bigger side buttons. The back one has a decent amount of post-travel and pre-travel, but the front one feels fine. They are very solid side buttons. They're workable. They're nothing to complain about. Now the scroll wheel is where we start to get issues. There is a very big QC issue going around, which I've been seeing on a lot of copies. The scroll wheel sounds like a maraca, and mine sounds like a maraca. I will put a clip on the screen of what my scroll wheel sounds like, and it is developed even worse, and it has gotten to the point where sometimes when I scroll, it actually clicks the scroll wheel, and when I click down, it gets stuck, and I have to manually pick it back up, and it is very loose. And the Maraca scroll wheel is a QC issue I've been seeing a lot of people have, which is very unfortunate because they said that they looked over this mouse, they tried to perfect it, they did all these things, and we're going to talk about this sensor now. So 3360 sensor, you might think, oh, nothing is wrong with a 3360 sensor, and there isn't. There really isn't. But apparently, let's start off with this. The LOD is extremely high. The minimum is 2.3 millimeters. The max is 3. That is very, very high, and that is a huge issue because what we're getting is spinouts, and a lot of them on mouse pads that shouldn't even be spinning out. For example, the Hien Skypad all have extreme spinouts, and my Hayate Ku isn't getting spinouts, and this is not an aggressive pad for a sensor at all. Sometimes when I flick, if there's a gun on my screen in game, it bobbles back and forth and then stabilizes in the middle and like jitters around. I don't know what that is, and it's really bad. And apparently the excuse for that was they didn't have the budget to use the 1mm, 2mm LOD other companies use, because they would have to have other firmware to lower it. Let me tell you something. They should have focused on perfecting this one product before releasing their next mouse, which is called the MVP. they should have stopped with their new Rush mouse pad and put their focus on their real product that they were advertising to be basically perfect and proof looked over and all these things. There's no excuse for that. I'm sure they could afford that if they didn't start development for like whatever the MVP or whatever. And they should have just waited until until they dropped the meta and then went from there, because I mean that's kind of embarrassing that the main point, the literally the most important part of a mouse is basically unusable on your mouse. It spins out on mouse pads that shouldn't even be spinning out. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing spins out on a QCK. And spinouts are, if you don't know what they are, they're really bad. Basically makes the sensor almost unusable. Now going on to the coating, it does show a lot of oil fingerprints, but I like it. It's grippy. It's for drag clicking. I don't play Minecraft, but it feels like a nice coating. Nice finger grooves. The cable is not top. I would say it's actually a really solid stock cable. The feet are solid. They're pretty thick, and they're pretty smooth. They're solid feet, and it's really a bummer that this mouse has so many issues and just feels like a pre-release mouse. It really is. It feels just like a pre-release mouse, and it doesn't feel proof, looked over, or anything. And I have a QC pass stamp on my mouse. Who is QC checking these things? This thing should have never passed QC check. And apparently they had a bunch of mice checked in other warehouses, multiple warehouses and stuff for QC issues. That has to be BS. There is no way, unless they are just over there fiddling their thumbs, lying about checking the mice. There is no possible way. I mean, I don't understand it. I have no issue with Gamesense. I really love the choice of shape and listening to the community, but the execution was just really bad. Like really, really, really bad. And I mean, I'm sure you could fix the sensor thing with firmware updates, but really, like, the scroll wheel thing was a huge miss. And when talking about it under somebody else's Twitter, they basically said it doesn't affect performance and that they are looking into it. I don't really expect them to do anything about it, but because it doesn't affect performance, but like that is just a miss. Especially with the sensor, like that is a huge miss. That should not happen. You really should have at least even waited to release this mouse until the sensor was usable. But that's basically my rant over. The mouse, really, I wouldn't recommend it at $60 if it's gonna have these issues until it's fully fixed. Like, I can't recommend it at this price point. I really can't. There's just better options right now. It was a huge letdown, and I'm being really harsh because literally the sensor is unusable. That is something I don't think I've really ever encountered besides some weird feeling sensors on like Cooler Master mice, or really old mice. That's gonna be the end of this video, or 3335s or whatever. But like and sub, follow my Twitter. It's gonna be in the description. Go to my Addis Ink link. Yeah, this was a pretty big miss, and it's kind of depressing because I spent a lot of money, and I'm trying to RMA this mouse, but they literally haven't responded to me in like 48 hours, so I don't know what's going on there. But that's going to be the end of this video. Peace.